What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the Heavy Reel Brewing Company, and they're out of Seaside Heights, New Jersey, and this is their Jerseysee Cream Ale. So this is a cream ale that comes in at 4.5% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed. Time of review, I don't know exactly how old this can is because it does not have a canned on date. However, I believe it is relatively fresh, and that's because this one was sent to me once again by Heavy Reel, more specifically Jeff from Heavy Reel. So huge thanks to them for this beer. In the description box, I'll post a link to the beer mail unboxing video I did that contains all the goodies they sent my way. And they sent me 9 unique beers, some stickers, and a t-shirt. And if I'm being honest, this is the creme de la creme of the box. And that's because if you've been following my channel over the past couple of years, maybe even further back, you know that when it comes to low ABV crusher, cheaper macro-esque beers, Genesee Cream Ale, aka Genesee Cream Ale, is my favorite, and this is Heavy Reel's take on that beer. So before Jeff sent out the beer mail, he actually had took a picture of him drinking this while grilling, and he said, "I'm going to send you one of these." And I was like, "Dude, you know I have to do a side-by-side comparison with Genesee Cream Ale." And he's like, "I'm here for it." So I bought myself a big-ass can of Genesee Cream Ale, and we got the glass here. I'm pouring the Jerseysee Cream Ale into the Genesee Cream Ale glass because hashtag proper glassware, but not really. And I've already reviewed this beer. I have compared this to Genny beer before. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of put this off camera, and after I crack this open, then I'll crack that open. I'm not doing like a true side-by-side in terms of like, you know, I'm going to show you both, compare them and everything. I want to review this on the merits of its own, right? Like just whatever liquid's in this vessel right here. But I also want to compare it to Genesee Cream Ale because that's, I mean, look at the labels and whatnot. Like, it definitely makes sense. Got the whole Jenny getup today on purpose. This was staged. I had to. So yeah, anyway, the difference between this and Jenny, this is 4.5, Jenny's 5.1, and obviously this is a craft version of it. You know what I mean? Heavy Reel is a craft brewery, and I'm sure it's going to probably be a little bit more flavorful. Not exactly like Genesee Cream Ale, but this is their take on it. And that's the beauty of a beer like this. So let's crack it open, get it in the glass, see what we got going on here. And yeah, got the hashtag proper glassware. We're gonna act like it's proper glassware because it kind of is. It's looking like a cream ale, ladies and gentlemen. Oh yeah. Oh, not the best pour. I mean, it smells like Genesee Cream Ale. Like, it smells like cream ale. Now, it doesn't have the clarity that Jenny has, so that's the first knock against it. But look at that beer in the glass. Like, yes, I poured a 3-finger head like an absolute animal and monster, but it is so vibrant and bright looking in that Genesee Cream Ale glass. Look at that thing. 3 fingers, bright white, creamy colored head. Look at the carbonation. When I put this through, it does have the etching. Oh, shit, that's burning out your eyes there. See if you can see the... Look at that carbonation. Look at that thing. It is flying because this has the... nucleation at the bottom to promote the carbonation. But ladies and gentlemen, if you want to see a better look of it from the other side, like you can see it has some decent clarity, but it is not crystal clear, okay? But it has that beautiful like yellow kind of golden straw color, a little bit darker, but it plays the role. So we're gonna throw this over here, and guess what we're doing now? Busting out the regular Genesee Cream Ale. I had to buy a big ass thing of this. Now, if you guys know, back in 2021, I went open heart surgery, replaced my aortic valve. Reason why I'm mentioning that is because I don't really have like day drinkers anymore. What you see me review is like 90% of the beer I drink outside of like hanging out like my local craft beer bar, like Brewed and Bottom Loose in New York. Shout out to Chris, Harry Settled Down. And, you know, maybe going to a beer fest, things of that nature, maybe the occasional share, but I don't just drink a lot of just normal beer on my own anymore. I can't. So anyway, I don't know why I'm telling you that. I'm telling you that because I would usually have like a 12-pack of this in the fridge, and I haven't in many years. So anyway, we'll give it a pour here. And the first thing you can notice is that this is definitely has a better clarity. Do something like that. And I didn't spill it, which is nice. So we will now compare these two just because, holy shit, Dirty Glass Mafia? Yeah, Dirty Glass Mafia. We're going to compare these just because we can, and there's no reason not to. So as you can see, the difference in the clarity. That is a craft brewer versus a macro brewer who has everything dialed in. I mean, I don't really give a shit how the beer looks, but yeah, the Cream Ale from Jenny definitely looks more appropriate as to what it's supposed to look like. But this looks pretty good. If it wasn't for the head not being as, or sorry, the clarity not being as good as Jenny, I think it would look very similar. Ooh, oh, I don't want to duff the pour there. I didn't duff the pour. And I love that the label, they kept it. Now look at that. This beer almost going over the top. Look at how good that beer looks in the glass. Like, I can't get over how great this beer looks in the glass. No one cares, Joe. Shut the fuck up. All right, let's get in those. Dude, it smells like a grainy, adjunct-laden cream ale. A little bit of, like, corn grits. Nice, like, just generic graininess. A little bit of lemon zest. Orchard fruit. Like core of a red apple. A little bit of grassiness. This has a little bit more hop character. It's a little bit more of like a slight dank grassiness. Not marijuana or weed, but just like a dank grassiness. Dude, it smells like a cream ale of some sort. Or like, again, a macro-esque version of a cream ale. Craft-esque version of a cream ale, but not too crafty. Let's get into it. Cheers, everybody. Thanks again, Jeff. I can't wait to take a sip of the other one. I'm gonna drink this down, then I'm gonna go to the other one, then we'll do a comparison. But yeah, I mean, it has that distinct grainy kind of malt character you expect. Buying this is better than Jenny, from what I remember. We'll see momentarily, but it has more of like approaching medium kind of body. For me, Jenny's like higher side of light, lower side of medium, so it's a little bit more heftier. Might impede the drinkability, but I think I prefer it if I'm just drinking a couple pints of it. The mouthfeel's nice. It has a nice moderate to a touch over moderate carbonation, crisp, clean, extremely refreshing, exactly what you want from a cream ale. Taste, nose carried over, grainy malt forefront, a little bit like a corn grit thing. Passes through lemon zest, lemon pith, a little bit of zippy lemon in general. Orchard fruit, red apple core, 100% for me. And the finish has this nice finish that is more of like grassy, slight dankness, a little bit more hop character than a Jenny, but you kind of expect that it is a craft version of it. This has a firmly dry finish with a mild to moderate bitterness. So the one thing I can say is this has more flavor than a Jenny would have, and it has a little bit more hop character, which in turn makes it a slightly more bitter. So while Jenny leans sweeter and more malt driven with not a big bitterness, this has more of more of the hop character, but it's still not that big. I have to mention it because look at the label, look at the name. I have to mention it. A 4.5%. Can't tell. It's a nice cream ale, no doubt. If you're here in the Western New York area, more specifically in the Rochester, Finger Lakes region, if you're a brewery, like you do your take on cream ale, you'll see so many breweries that brew the cream ale because so many people grew up drinking Jenny Cream Ale that they need to make one for themselves to be like, we got. If someone comes in and is like, hey, you have something Jenny? Yeah, we got this cream ale that's kind of like Jenny, right? So it's cool to see a brewery in New Jersey doing the same thing because they appreciate the cream ale like so many of us do here in the Western New York area. All right, now let's get into the King of Kings. I don't know. I'm just talking on my ass. Yeah, so let's get a nose on this. So right from the get-go, it's like night and day. Yeah, this just has more aromatic flavor to it or aromas in general. This has that like grainy kind of corny sweetness to it. A little bit of grassiness, but it just doesn't have a lot. So let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. That's so good, dude. Listen, I'm not one to go crazy over regular macro lagers. I don't like American light lagers. If I'm reaching for a macro brew that is cheap, readily available, this is the beer that I used to pick up all the time. Jenny Cream Ale. This is the one. Again, body's like higher, more lower side of medium, where this is straight medium, so a little bit lighter. The mouthfeel, moderately carbonated, crisp, clean, refreshing, just like this. The taste is where it's definitely 100% different. And I should say 100%. What the fuck? 100%. It's 100% different. No, it's like a 10% difference, maybe 20. And it's because this is a craft version of this beer. So you get more flavor, a little bit more hop character. It just has a more flavor overall, despite being 0.6% alcohol by volume less. So again, malty, corny, a little bit of that red apple core. This has more like a red apple skin, like a slight tannic red apple skin. Maybe even a little bit of green apple. So a little bit of like the brewing fault, but it's like acceptable in some of these beers, so that's fine. And it has that lemon zest. The difference is the finish is more of like a semi to full-on dry finish with no bitterness, no hop character. This has more of a mild to moderate bitterness with a mild hop character. So that's the biggest difference between the two. But this is a beautifully done craft version of this beer. Or paying, if they're not exactly going for this beer, paying homage to it with their own cream ale that has the same branding is really cool. So, rating, pretty easy for me. This is definitely better, like as a whole as a beer, but you're not going to touch it in terms of value, price point, and availability. So, definitely plays a role. So, I'm going to throw this off camera now because so the first time and the only time that I really truly reviewed Genesee Cream Ale, I give it a 3.25. And then over the years, as I became someone who understands that styles are, every style can be good for many people out there. And I used to be snobbish towards like, hey, I can't give a macro beer or a beer like a cheaper beer like this, anything over 3.5 even is great because whatever, I don't like the style. That went out the window many years ago. That's not how I am, and that's not why I wouldn't advocate anybody be like that. For a cream ale or like a low ABV crusher of a macro beer, this is now, to me, a 3.75 into the 4 range, depending on my mood. And I think that's just as a beer as a whole. If you take the price point and everything, it's over a 4 probably. So keep that in mind. I'd probably give this like right now, like a 3.8, 3.85. It's a good low ABV cream ale. This, a little bit better, but obviously different in some respects. So let me do one more sip and I'll lock in a rating. Yeah, definitely a nice crusher of a cream ale. A little bit more flavor than the Jenny. I'm going to give Jerseysee Cream Ale from Heavy Reel. We're going to lock in a straight 4 out of 5. I like it. They did a great job with it. It's not too far off a Jenny, but it's far enough where it's like you can say, hey, this is not Jenny in a can from Heavy Reel. It's more like their own take on it, and I appreciate that aspect. So keep that in mind. Price point and availability. Here's where I have no idea what the price point. I'm going to assume that these are probably in that like $12 to $14 range for a 4-pack. If it was like $10 4-pack, would be awesome. If they somehow sold these in 6-packs, that would be cool. But when I can get, a 12-pack of 12 fluid ounce cans of Jenny Cream Ale for like $8 to $9, 10 at the most, it's tough to be like, I'm going to pick this over Jenny unless I wanted to support local. That's the way I look at it. So if you're in New Jersey and you want to support a local brewery that does really good like beer in general, but like a low ABV crusher like this, I'm into it. Like, definitely support them. And then availability, like I said, I don't really know. So Jeff, if you happen upon this, anybody in around Seaside Heights, New Jersey, or can get Heavy Reel, let me know. I think this is a well done beer, and this is the first like lager, and not lager because it's not lager, it's a cream ale, but it's a low ABV beer that's in that like lager kind of cream ale realm from Heavy Seas. I pretty much have had heavily fruited sours and IPAs, and they did a great job here. No off flavors, just a good crushable beer. So if you've had this one before, please post in the comment section. If not, what's your favorite cream ale? Do you like Jenny Cream Ale? Is there a local brewery that does a cream ale better than Jenny? Is there one you'd recommend to me that I could potentially get my hands on here in the Buffalo, New York area? Let me know, and I'll definitely review it. Like I said, 4.5%, 5.1, you really can't tell. No warming, nothing. They're all low ABV for a reason. Yeah, tasty. Thanks again, Jeff. So I have 2 more. I don't know what order you're going to see these in, but right now I have 2 more fruited sours in the fridge from them that I got to get to, and we'll do so. Actually, 3. There's 3. Yeah, there's 3. So once I get to them, I'll be done with the Heavy Reel. I don't know when I'm going to post all these. You will just see them whenever. All right, I'm back. And did you think I was going to go away without doing a cuvee? I almost did. Shout out to the piece of shit driving by right now. Yeah, I was going to shut everything down and go upstairs, enjoy the rest of the beers. And I was like, dumbass, you didn't do a cuvee. So if you made it to the end, you're going to see the cuvee, aka the cuvee. And we're just going to do... I took a couple sips of it to kind of drink it down. We'll see. I'm going to try to pour like half of it in. Is it going to spill? It's probably going to spill. Yeah! I didn't spill anything all day, but whatever. Who gives a shit? So yeah, that's kind of what I expected. We're doing the cuvee here. because you got to cuvee these. There's no maybe later, maybe whatever. I'm cuveeing the mother effers. Put this back over here for you guys. Throw this over here. Damn, is it all over the bottom? You know, I've been doing really good with the spills and shit lately, but listen, I'm not going to fault that one this way. All right, so how does this beer look? It looks like I cuveed them both, because I just did. Yeah, it looks like a cuvee beer. No one gives a shit. Smell. Smells like a combination of both. Is that a cop-out? Could be. Let's get a taste. Cheers. That's fucking good. What? I'm glad I came back. I was going to be pissed off. I got to come back. I'm going to edit this stuff, and then it's just going to be whatever. Another good cuvee. It's like this dumbed down a little bit. It's more drinkable, but it has the flavor profile of the base beer, the regular Jerseysee Cream Ale from Heavy Reel, with like a little bit more of a macro vibe from the Genesee Cream Ale. I think I like this better than either on their own. Don't shoot the messenger. 4.1 out of 5. So I'm glad I came back. Again, I'm going to have to edit and post and whatnot and like combine the two videos and whatnot, but I don't really care. I think it was worth it. So anyway, now I'm going to properly shut this one down. Appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. If you have a can of the Jerseysee and a Genesee Cream Ale, combine them, see what you think. It's pretty fun. Jeff, if you haven't done it, I imagine you probably have or you thought about it, do it. See what you think. To the next one. Cheers.